What is going on YouTube? Hayden back making another brand new Crypto TV episode. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as XRP to US dollar. We're also going to be looking at the current coin market cap as well as DueDEX. Specifically, we're going to be focusing on the very interesting upwards trend that we actually formed today. And I believe with this trend came a very interesting surprise, as we may have actually figured out the specific trend line that we are using that is slowly pushing us up to the upside. Some very interesting things to discuss, guys. Some very interesting chartings to look over. Some minor tweaks to the charts though, but I do think they will make sense to you after you watch them. Otherwise, if you guys are new to the channel, definitely make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up. Remember to follow me on Twitter at CryptoTheOfficial. This way, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can DM me over there and I will get back to you. Otherwise, let's jump into today's episode. Alright guys, so yesterday's video we discussed a very interesting move. We said that one day was left, as you guys can see. Great news, one day left for XRP, Ripple, and Bitcoin, and I believe I may have to tweak this ever so slightly for some small reasons. As you guys can see clearly on the uptrend though that I did draw, you can see where I have marked out every single higher low and the fact that this new one may be forming as we speak. You can see that it looks like we may be bouncing off the support and heading up higher. So with that comes some very interesting tweaks and trends that I had to make to the technical analysis, specifically looking at Ethereum. So as I begin, you guys can see, we'll talk about Ethereum, then we'll jump into Bitcoin, XRP, and some of the other ones. Before I move on to that though, if you guys haven't already signed up for the free $200 Bitcoin giveaway that I'm doing as a crypto influencer, definitely make sure to check it out. The link is in the description. There's 9 days left, free to enter, $200 for free Bitcoin, up to 5 ways to enter. So definitely make sure to check it out. Get as many chances as you can. 9 days left, literally about a week left in that giveaway before it ends. So definitely make sure to take advantage of that. It's my way to give back to you guys, keep things interesting in this crazy world that we're having right now. Otherwise, to get back as to where I left off, you guys can see it looks like we did actually set some higher lows. So I didn't make changes to Ethereum's uptrend or chartings for a couple of reasons. I think I've had this one correct the entire time. I've had to make some changes to Bitcoins, XRPs, and Litecoins, which I'll share with you guys in a second. But you guys can clearly see we looked to be falling back down, and it looked like we were retesting the uptrend. As you can see, we discussed yesterday's video. If we held above this support, there's a good chance we'd bounce off and head up even higher, and it appears to be that is exactly what is happening. Volume came back. We shot up from 170 all the way up to, I believe, a peak at 183, almost $184. So it makes sense that this is happening. We tested this and we broke bullish. Now I want to take this information and then transfer it to Bitcoins and the other cryptocurrencies. We discussed in yesterday's video specifically that it looked like the other cryptos were breaking through their uptrend, their support, but it was weird because we were breaking bearish from it. We broke outside of it if I had it up ever so slightly. And with that came my understanding that maybe there's a little bit of tweaking that needed to be done to the charts to get a better general understanding, one that matches the Ethereum's chart compared to the other cryptocurrencies. So I just tweaked it ever so slightly to kind of be fairly similar with Ethereum's chart. You can see what I did here. I do want to draw another resistance right here, and you can see how well this forms and works now. We actually used this with the charts before. We actually had wicks and candles actually close below the uptrend, but with this slight change, literally ever so slight change, it actually allowed us to use this now as a means of higher lows, and it looks like we're heading back up, which is great. We retested the bottom here, we held through, and it looks like we're gonna head up very, very, very soon. It seems like we may actually be not testing 46. We may be using the $44 resistance as its means of channeling in between here. We may see the $46 retestment. It's possible, but I'm not going to tackle that until we discuss. Now with that came a slight delay. As you guys heard, I did say the past couple of videos that it looks like we had a couple more days of trend before we saw, or literally like 1 or 2 more days left of trend before we saw the breakout, but it seems like we may actually experience a little bit longer of a trend than anticipated, maybe closer to the beginning of May, which really isn't that far away considering we're literally at the end of April. So we may have 2 weeks left before we see that big movement. Now, obviously, there is still money to be made. You can clearly see that we are still trending in between here, and there is still room for us to go from 42 all the way up to 44. Specifically, I want to talk about Bitcoin. It looks like Bitcoin's a little bit closer. Litecoins looks to me like we may be entering the early stages of May. Bitcoin, though, I didn't really tweak that much. It was literally just a slight correction to the downside. You can see this actually makes a little more sense. The same resistance is at play. The same uptrend is still there. You can see the higher lows are, being, held very well by this uptrend here. But it seems like 1, 2, 3, 4 that I had to just ever so slightly tweak it downwards so that we weren't testing this support, but we're actually using this one as a support. This is more than 3 confirmations, so this is a strong uptrend, and it seems like it's going to happen closer to the end of April than the beginning of May, so it shaves off about a week, and that literally today being Wednesday, and we're assuming around the 28th to 29th of April, we don't really have too much more time. Maybe it gives us another week to prepare, so definitely make sure to take advantage of that week to prepare yourselves, get ready, set up your portfolios, get ready, make sure you have all the tools around. Specifically, we're going to be using DueDEX. As I said in my videos prior, that I will be showing you guys the trade that I will make the second the opportunity presents itself. The same thing applies if we end up breaking, having a limit order set above the $7,400 resistance, and the same thing with a short if we break below this uptrend here. And obviously, as we get closer into here, that we'll adjust that slightly and maybe closer to $7,100, maybe closer to $7,000. As we get there, we'll discuss that. But you can see this thing actually helps us better understand the way the markets are going, because it looks like we're going to meet the middle moving average at the same time the uptrend ends. It seems like if we let this scale out, the same thing with the price, they are going to come to an end point right there. This looks a lot more, I don't want to say advanced, but this looks a lot more correct than the other chart that I had. With this slight tweak, it allows us to actually use this uptrend much better. It allows us to show that these prices didn't actually drop below the uptrend. So I do believe we are pretty accurate right now with the way these are moving. And with that comes the understanding that on DueDEX, you can clearly see we are now back above the uptrend here. It's holding very well. You can clearly see that we are still trending in between the channel. Makes total sense. As you can see, we're trading in between here. Makes total sense. We're still waiting, though, for the uptrend to happen. We really just need to retest the $7,400 resistance. Very simple. If you haven't signed up for DueDEX, there's a link in the description there. Very easy to set up. We're literally putting out a position. You can even set it up now if you wanted to. But a limit order, as you can see right here above, I would say 7,400. You can play it conservative and maybe set it to 7,500 or 7,450. You would set your quantity. Now I have 0.4 Bitcoin, so I could easily do like $4,000 if I wanted to, because we're leverage trading it by 10 times. That gives us more notional value. So I can actually trade with more. Obviously higher risk, but I can trade with more than what I actually have in my balance. Very easy to do. Definitely make sure to follow along with me. You don't even have to put money in it just yet, but you can literally set up an account. It's free to do. And I believe they are offering sign-up bonuses. All that information is in the description down below. But we may have had to postpone it, or not even postpone, but push back the breakout point just ever so slightly, just a couple more days, due to the fact that we need this consolidation to happen. The resistances and the uptrends are still there. They're still accounted for. There's a clear resistance at 7,400 that does not change. There's still an uptrend here that does not change. But we just need a little bit more consolidation before we can really pinpoint which direction we're going to break to. Same thing goes with Ethereum. I made a slight tweak to the charts. You can see it here. I can literally correct this up ever so slightly. You can see here it makes sense. Everything is aligned perfectly. We didn't break out of the uptrend. We're still heading on this consolidation here. Just because we broke through it, we just had to slightly tweak it out more. And you can see the same thing applies with XRP. We retested the bottom support. We broke bullish from it. We're heading back up. There's still a clear resistance at 20 cents, so we just need the consolidation to happen. That ends. The same thing with Litecoin closer to the beginning of May. As for Ethereum and Bitcoin, it seems like they are both still on track closer to the end of April, but it's literally just a matter of time now, guys. Just prepare yourselves, get ready. If you want to play a high risk trade, you can consider buying long, expecting us to retest $7,400 once again. High risk factor there. I'm not going to get involved with that. I'm waiting and baiting and debating that once we break 7,400, we're going to see a big pop. If we manage to break above this middle moving average, we are going to see a big move to the upside. You can see the bullish cross on the middle moving average right here was a clear sign that the uptrend is forming. If we go back right here, you can see when we broke and had that bullish cross, when the green band crossed over the red, we shot up in price. It is literally happening over and over and over again. I'll find that next point. Right here, when we had that green band cross over the red, that was a bullish signal and the price managed to move up. So the same exact thing applies with what is happening now. This bullish cross is not yet reflected with the price, but because it's happening, there's a very, very, very high chance that the price is going to break above the middle moving average and we're going to trade above it. So I'm honestly expecting prices closer to $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 in the next couple of weeks, if not maybe a month or two. But ultimately, I do believe that we are going to see a very big bullish movement, and I do believe the market has transitioned to a bullish move now. Otherwise, guys, that's going to wrap up today's video. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up. Follow me on Twitter at CryptoVOfficial if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, and take part in the giveaway. Link is in the description. Otherwise, I'll see you in tomorrow's episode. Peace.